Hey y'all, welcome back to the party. It is me, your girl, BrittReacts, and today we're going to react to some more of Andrew Schulz and Charlamagne the God having like real conversation, which is like blowing my mind. Someone sent this over and said they'd love to hear my take. I know absolutely nothing about this, so this will be fun to watch me learn it and sound stupid per usual. Andrew Schulz on Russia, PSYOPS. I don't think I'm supposed to read that like a word. On Americans with Charlamagne.
Are foreign governments inflating these conversations on certain social media apps to cause more disruption in America and make it seem like we're all real fighting?
Yeah. Sorry, this does not need to be filtered or altered for copyright reasons, so let me fix that. I don't know what accent that was. Don't ask. Don't ask. All right, let's run it back. 8 seconds. Here we go.
Are foreign governments inflating these conversations on certain social media apps to cause more disruption in America and make it seem like we're all real fighting?
Yes.
But in reality, I don't think many people are even thinking about Jews. Like, I don't even think it's part of their average conversation. I think the average person isn't even...
Chris is honest. Who are the countries, Chris?
China and Russia.
Okay, just making sure you didn't leave China out.
And somehow I still mess up the filter. When were y'all going to tell me? Good Lord, like what's happening here? I clicked the completely wrong thing. I'm so sorry. But you get what you get. You don't pitch fit. I don't refilm, retake, or anything.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Maybe 60 Russia, 40 China.
But still, like...
China's smart enough to let Russia do all the heavy lifting, and then they just add a little...
Bro, there was an episode where Rogan had this guy on, Daryl Cooper. He's this historian, and he has different takes on things, and I understand there's criticism for his takes, and you should be able to criticize every single person that puts something out on the internet for consumption. I'm totally fine with that. You can look at it and say it's not factually accurate. Of course, all these things. But the way that Twitter reacted to this, you would think that it was like a Rogan episode where he has Elon on or Kanye on or Trump on, where it's just hundreds of millions of views because of the amount of discussion. And then I went and I saw the episode, and it's like a low-performing episode for Rogan, for like what Rogan can generate. So I saw that, and I'm like, hold on, are we being tricked or manipulated? Or is somebody else inflating the level of this content? And it's a very important thing to key into.
We know this for a fact.
Yeah.
Well, this ain't shit that we are discussing. Like, this shit is, we know this for a fact.
Yes, but the average person might not. Sorry, Chris.
Russia's figured out something, which I think, is smart, but unfortunate for us, which is it's a lot easier to invade a country and a lot more cost effective to invade a country via social media than it is with tanks or drones or...
That is a point. I don't know who this gentleman is they're talking to. All right, listen, I have something to say about this. A lot of you, and this is across all of my social medias because I have my editor essentially just take hot takes from these reactions and cut them down to like 60 seconds so I can upload them as shorts. It's what most people on social media do. If you have long form YouTube content, they'll take it and put it elsewhere. And across the board, when I was posting clips from this conversation with these two men, well, not this conversation, a previous conversation, everyone was saying that Charlamagne is either racist or he's paid by the Democrats. He's a like plant and all the things for the Democrats. And, much to what Andrew just said, I agree. Like, if I am going to sit down and create content that is solely based on my opinion or, anything of the sort, I am open to criticism. I never have a problem with that. I actually learn a lot from the criticism in many different ways. But I just struggle with, like, why is it so in this day and age? It's like, because someone doesn't agree with you, they have to be the extreme of something else. Like, why is it that because people don't agree with Charlamagne, is he racist? Is he paid by the Democrats? Why can't he and Andrew just be two everyday men they're not everyday men because they are in the public eye, but these are just two American citizens having what I feel is very intellectual and thought-provoking conversation. Two men from two different walks of life that have two probably very different perspectives on life, that are having very open, honest, back and forth conversation about what's going on in their country. Why does it have to be so extreme? I don't know. I've heard a lot. Listen, in the black culture, in the culture, Charlamagne is not the most liked. Like that, I've heard a lot of bad, negative things people feel about him. He is someone that pushes the culture forward, though, I think. But I've never heard anyone refer to him in the culture as any of the things that a lot of people throughout my social media channels referring to him as. And it just feels like, again, because he is on the opposite side of what you believe, he must be being paid by the Democrats. It's like, why can't he just actually believe this stuff and you just think he's wrong? I'm honestly asking, like, is there proof that he's being paid by the Democrats? Is there proof that he's a Democratic plant? Is there proof that he's racist? Like, and all people of all color were saying these things. And so I'm not like, it isn't one race saying, like, there were black men, white men, black women, white women calling him racist. I'm like, racist towards who, for what? I just have never heard these things, and I don't, in my ability to discern, which I think I have a good spirit of discernment, feel like Charlamagne is someone that's being planted to pump Democratic information. I think he just believes what he believes, and Charlamagne is definitely someone who stands 10 toes down in his beliefs. Like, if you've ever watched The Breakfast Club, it's annoying how wrong he can be and how loud he can be about it. But I don't know if I think he is all these bad things. Nobody really had a lot of negative things to say about Schulz. He seems to have a more popular take on things. But again, I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting. I'm like, I open up Instagram, same thing on TikTok, same thing on Facebook, same thing on YouTube. If you're not following me on all those, by the way, do yourself a favor.
To invade a country via social media than it is with tanks
100%.
or drones or soldiers on the ground.
Yep.
You know, they've already invaded.
You could sway public sentiment because unfortunately, there's a lot of creators out there that aren't creating authentically. They're creating algorithmically. Like, whatever the algorithm seems to serve, they just start creating that shit. So a lot of these people that, like, some of you guys are, like, following and, like, consuming their content, they don't even believe that shit. They just made a video and it got views, so they're like, oh, this is my identity now. They're plastic bags in the wind. But now to know that those views aren't even real and it's just China or Russia inflating to make it seem bigger than it actually is, go.
But what happens is they reach a certain inflection point, and then what happens is the
people take it over.
It creates its own momentum, and then it is real.
So
Yeah, I do agree with, well, I don't know. I will never sit here and act like I have any, like, truly, like, real understanding of the whole China and Russia controlling our social media. Like, I get it, but I'm, like, not even gonna act like I understand all of it. But I do, I mean, if we're just talking like the algorithm and bots and like Meta and all that stuff, like, they do have, and so I'm sure a lot of you are going to say, well, the bots are China and Russia. If that is true, all I'm saying is, as a content creator, you can see something be pushed and then see it catch wind. Once it's been pushed, then real people get it, and then it really, the ball starts rolling with it. So I understand what they're saying. I also definitely think, I will not ever lie to you guys and say, like, for example, I just told you my editor will edit things down for, like, he'll pick the best sound bites and the best things that he knows will get engagement on social media, which will hopefully attract people to the long form videos so they can get the full scope and context of what I was saying. That is just the name of the game, right? Like, if we're being 100% honest as a content creator, you do have to think about, like, especially when this is your bread and butter, like, okay, I do need to be creating content that people want to engage with. But I do agree with Andrew, there are people who sit down and literally just rage bait. They literally just make content about things that they know are going to piss people off, and they do not walk and talk that life. Absolutely. I hope and pray that I don't perpetuate that. I'm always reacting to this new type of content for me, from a space of curiosity, wanting to learn, and it just expand my knowledge and my territory and my thumbprint on this earth. But there are absolutely content creators who sit down and literally research what's trending, what's pissing people off, and they react to it, because all press is good press, you know? So I agree with this.
And then
sentiment.
what happens is
The people take it over.
it creates its own momentum, and then it is real.
So,
and then it does become
you hear what he
real.
said, Israel.
Yeah.
So they always slide it in. This is what happens a lot of times with music, right? He's like, you can make a song go #1, and then sometimes the people see it at #1, and then they like the song, and now the song takes off on its own.
What
Yeah.
I'm stopping this a lot because this is such a good conversation. That is like essentially why Drake ended up suing his label, because that's what he said they did with Kendrick's song "Not Like Us" that like ruined him. That's exactly what he's saying. It's like the label will push it. They'll push the numbers, and then all of a sudden, like, people, just because something is trending, then people will like it. If it's not trending, they don't want anything to do with it. But if it's popular and everybody else likes it, but who is everybody else, you know? This is a good conversation.
But it is something that we should be aware of, and the American people should at least be aware of. When you see that much conversation about something on one social media platform, and then you don't really see it anywhere else, it's something to key into, in my personal opinion.
And that's why I said this thing about
astroturfing, I think is the name for it.
Oh.
probably astro gliding, because they fucking you in that. But here's the thing. This is what I would say, right? I was talking about
an a-hole.
I should have never taught you about homosexuality.
Taught you.
Regret it.
The pro-Palestinian crowd, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it was more conversations around that during the election. It was disrupting Kamala's campaign rallies.
And now all of a sudden
they were saying things like, "You can't. There's no way you could pick Josh Shapiro as your running mate because he's Jewish, Zionist." Like there was now, but after
about this.
think about this.
Go.
Trump is talking about literally ethnic cleansing.
Wait, what?
Yes, he's literally talking about ethnic cleansing.
Wait, where? What are we talking about?
In Gaza.
Oh, yes. Got it.
I love that Andrew's always like, Charlamagne, hold on. Cite your source. What? What? You see how excited he just got up? He like sat up in his seat.
He's literally talking about ethnic cleansing.
Wait, where? What are we talking about?
In Gaza.
Oh, yes. Got it.
He's talking about Mara Gaza. like
So-
building hotels on the beach.
Mara Gaza,
Where is that crowd now to be at
Mar-a-Lago.
Trump?
So check it out, right? This is actually this is really interesting. Who does that serve the most? That fracturing of the Democratic Party over that issue serves who the most?
The far left.
The Republican Party.
Sure.
Right? Because, well, if the Democrats are fractured on an issue, they can't all get behind this one dude or chick, i.e. Kamala, right?
Okay,
Some of them go, I'm not going to even vote. Some of them might even go, you know what, I'm going to go with Trump because it looks like he's going to make a ceasefire. So who is this an advantage for? Now, could it come from the conservatives?
I currently have a video on all of my platforms, a short form video on all my platforms discussing them talking about this. And I mentioned that, you know, essentially, I'm paraphrasing, but Trump is doing everything he said he was going to do. And I have some Palestinian American friends that I watched during the election amplify their voices and say that they were pro-Trump and get Kamala out of here because her and Joe were, you know, for Israel and they were for all the killing in Gaza, yada, yada, yada. And now that Trump is in office and Trump is kind of 10 toes down on this Israel situation, they're kind of quiet. And it was like, but you were just like very pro-Trump and now you're quiet when you realize like he isn't calling for a ceasefire. He's actually, where I guess Kamala and Joe were kind of dancing around it. He's not dancing around it. He's doing what he does and he's talking directly about it and he's being very clear that he is on the side of Israel. And so it's interesting because like this video, this short form video that I'm talking about, has got a lot of comments on it and people are going back and forth and it's great. I mean, I think it opens, again, conversation, but, excuse me. It just is so interesting to see that happen. I'm glad this came back up again.
He's going to make a ceasefire. So who is this an advantage for? Now, could it come from the conservatives or could it come from other other countries that feel like they might have a better shot of getting what they want if there is Trump in office. These are the type of things that, like, we don't know exactly what it is, but you can at least look at the marketplace and know that you're potentially being manipulated. This is good shit Americans should know. Is that a fair assessment? I try not to be biased.
I believe it 99%. It happened.
100.
I think 100%.
Still it's happening, I think.
And, you know, the irony is this is the playbook that we've run on other countries over the years.
I'm not saying that we're not guilty of it, too.
Yeah, we've gone into Guatemala, we've gone into Iran, we've gone into a million places and pitted different factions against each other.
I'm not saying
and
that
we know somebody whose parents work in PSYOPs.
Oh, is that what this is? Oh, Lord, I should have said PSYOPs. Somebody's already flamed me up in the comments. Like PSYOPS. PSYOPs.
You know somebody whose parents work in PSYOPs.
Who's that? Who's that?
We're whispering. I don't want to put it out there. But their parents work in PSYOPs.
Really?
Yes. And so it's like, first of all, we already knew this, but when you know somebody who works in PSYOPs, they'll tell you, we've been doing this to other countries for years. Decades.
Yeah.
Now other countries are doing it to us.
So just be aware of what you're consuming.
The far left should have been the most activated and organized against Trump, and they were completely missing. And
Psychological operations are military activities that use psychological and informational techniques to influence people's opinions and behavior. Got it. Thank you so much.
Most activated and organized against Trump, and they were completely missing. And I believe it's because, you know, I don't feel right saying that Gaza is a distraction, because Gaza is a very real thing and very real things are happening.
Absolutely.
But it was a distraction to the far left.
You can't make me believe that a bunch of people in Dearborn, Michigan thought that Donald Trump would be better on Gaza.
Right.
Than any Democrat. By the way, everybody's going to always support Israel. Like, there's nobody.
He did get a ceasefire. You can't say that he isn't more.
Yeah, but at what price is there going to be a ceasefire?
I don't know, but the ceasefire did happen. We have to at least acknowledge that.
Okay.
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, you got to give it up to where it is.
If you want to do a ceasefire, yeah, but then if you're saying we're going to take these 2 million people from Gaza and move them other places, they don't want that either.
Oh, of course not. But they weren't pitching that during the election or during the what's it called? During the campaign.
What's going to happen after the ceasefire is going to be the real tell.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But it just...
We are currently on the other side of that ceasefire, and it is the real tell now.
This is more of a discussion of how are you manipulated and how can we tell we're being manipulated. Like, we even found out that, and this is fact, there was a Russian company that was paying prominent YouTubers to push...
Really?
Drop the list.
They did. It was, who was it?
We talked about this.
Tim Pool was one of them. Now, he remains that he did not know that that was the influence.
Because they funneled it through different...
Exactly. And I believe that, too.
I believe that.
But think about it like this. You have to look at this and you have to go, okay, you might not know, but why are they targeting your opinion?
Because of your platform.
They not giving us money because they know we're not saying the shit that's sympathetic.
They
right? Like they are targeting people that they believe to be sympathetic to their cause, and they were rewarding them making videos about that specifically to influence people in our country.
Tucker Carlson.
Was Tucker on the list?
If Tucker should be the list.
Well, hold on.
Tucker should be the list.
I don't know.
Okay. I don't remember.
Tucker Carlson is the... I don't know. Is he qualified as a journalist? I don't know. I just know he was on Fox News and then he wasn't. Right? This is such a real thing. Again, as a content creator, I just got an invite from Meta, literally earlier today, inviting me to like this creator hub where they want to have you fill out surveys and be on panels and they can get your opinion. And I told you guys I've recently started to post these snippets. So now they say this and I'm like, I wonder why. Because if you watch any of my content, I think I do a really good job of not playing both sides, but asking questions from both sides, because I don't have a side. I think I can identify right and wrong, or what feels right and wrong to me, and I don't shy away from expressing that, but I also don't agree wholly with anybody. So I'm kind of like, what do y'all want with me? Because I'm not super clear on anything. So this is very interesting because it is true. Like they'll reach out about, okay, for example, there's like Shoe on Head does an ad for Ground News, and she talks about how it is very like central, like you can get news from all outlets on any side, and perhaps maybe this is an example. I'm not saying this is true, but perhaps they give her the money for that ad. But when you get to their website, they are pushing something more than something else on the website. Like that's, I think, what they mean by like maybe Poole didn't know that was what he was advertising. You know, it's such a real thing. It is. And that's why you have to be careful and like do your research. All money isn't good money.
If Tucker should be the list.
Well, hold on. Was he? This is.
I don't know.
Okay. I don't remember, but there was another study that talked about how they'll send these bad faith actors to shows. Like they what? They were talking about these bad faith actors they send to shows to target the show's audience. Breakfast Club was on that list, you know what I mean? But it's just like I don't think that these people are necessarily bad faith actors.
Who they send?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think the people are bad faith actors. They just believe what they believe. Like, but
that's what I'm saying about Charlamagne. That's exactly what I'm saying about him. Is like y'all are saying that he's being paid and pushed to plant this information, but I just think this man is a knucklehead, and this is across the board in anything that he believes. He stands 10 toes down. Like he is wildly hated on that radio show because his opinions about anything, he is not afraid to be loud and wrong. And I think that's where it is. It's like, but because we're in this society where it's like, oh, but if you're wrong, not only are you wrong because you don't agree with me, you must be with them. It's like, what?
Vic Ramaswamy or Larry Elder or Laura Trump, they believe what they believe.
They're called useful idiots.
Or maybe they're just called conservatives.
Well, sure. I guess what I'm saying is they're useful to their cause. I don't believe Vivek is an idiot. I don't believe Larry is an idiot. Of course not. These are brilliant people. But if a foreign government feels like they're more sympathetic to their cause, then they're going to try to do anything they can to inflate their opinions. Yeah. And that's okay, too, if you believe in those opinions. You want them inflated. You just got to be careful who they're being inflated by.
Yeah, that's why, it's funny when, and I know you didn't say that they're idiots, but when people do use those terms, and they go, oh, he's a useful idiot, this and that, the idiots won.
So
who's really the idiot?
I think they should call them useful geniuses.
That's what I'm saying.
Because they're effective.
Who's really the idiot? If they're able to message and communicate what it is they believe in more, if they're able to make the American people believe what they believe in more, or even believe like they're the better option, who's really the idiot?
Yep,
we are.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think we're just uninformed, and I think that like what happened to a lot of us is like we became disillusioned by like traditional media. So we went to podcasts to start telling us the truth, and we figured, well, there's no way the podcast could be influenced because these are just people that are researching stuff on their own, and they are just disseminating that information to the people. They're honest, they're truthful. Well, you know what happens? Once podcasters start making real money, they're susceptible to getting paid
the
for
same
shit.
forces that manipulated mainstream media now are manipulating
podcasters.
Whatever this is.
I got another. I agree with that too. I got another perspective. My
really
perspective
good points.
is
Really
people
good
love
points.
crews, right? But they love when your crew is solid. If your crew looks splintered in any way, shape, or form, I don't want to be a part of that. One thing you can say about Republicans, they always look
united
solid because they always are on the same page with shit.
Who wants to join a club that's unorganized? They don't agree on things. They're, you know what I mean? Like, this is what, like, I agree with Charlamagne. It's like, especially in the climate that America's in today, it's like people just want stability. And when the Democrats can't even find common ground amongst themselves, and the Republicans, no matter what, are presenting a united front, people are naturally going to be attracted to that united front because it feels more stable.
About Republicans, they always look solid because they always are on the same page with shit. Regardless of what they say about each other in the media, whatever, when it comes to that vote, they all gonna vote down the line. Democrats don't do that. We just saw it last week. right? We just saw it last week. Well, whether it's 10 Democrats voting to censure Al Green, or Chuck Schumer, and who else? Fetterman, was like 8 other Democrats who I think Gillibrand. They all decided, hey, you know what? We're going to vote with Republicans on this bill that they told us was terrible.
But
they told us was terrible.
Sorry, go.
Don't tell me something is terrible.
And then support it.
Don't tell me something is bad. Don't tell me it's the worst thing for the American people, but then vote for it. How about negotiate, Chuck?
I completely agree with you there, which is misleading to the people, right? You tell us one thing, and then you go, it's the same criticism.
Within days. Within a day.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's the same criticism you had for the politicians that were calling Trump Hitler, and then were chumming it up with him. I get that too. Mm-hmm. But what I do think is very important is that we actually are not so politically rigid. Like, I admire somebody who is critical of their own party and will vote with the opposition if they think it's in the best interest for the country. And I think Republicans should do that more, and I think Democrats should do that more. It'd be great if it wasn't so polarizing.
I think those 8 Democrats like the bill. And if you like the bill, tell me what you like about the bill.
And then maybe I'll like it too.
That's right.
If you feel confident in the bill and you feel like it's in the best interest of America.
Transparency. And again, I keep saying this. This is why so many people are attracted to Trump, because he says what he means, and he means what he says, and he doesn't care what anyone thinks about it. And a lot of people are attracted to that. It's like, if the Democrats would stop trying to throw stones and hide their hands and just be truthful, you know what I mean? Not saying that the Republicans are more truthful. I think it just, again, feels more united. There's more of a united front. And in turn, it at least presents more honest that way. I think I agree a lot with what they're saying here.
And then maybe I'll like it too.
That's right.
If you feel confident in the bill and you feel like it's in the best interest of Americans, tell me why.
That's right. Don't tell me that the bill is terrible.
So that you
hate
pacify
the bill,
me.
But I gotta vote for it.
No,
Why? No, you don't. You can negotiate. Right. Use your motherfucking leverage. You voted for that bill, Chuck Schumer and Gillibrand and Fetterman, because you like the bill.
Yeah.
Don't tell me otherwise.
And you know who?
If you tell me otherwise, I'm looking at you crazy.
You lost our trust.
That's it.
You had our trust, but then you lied to us.
Come on, man.
You have to explain to us why you're doing the things you're doing. If you say you're doing one thing and then you flip when the vote comes, why would I believe anything else you say?
If you got a homeboy,
talk to me.
And you have a suspicion that he's gay.
Yeah.
You don't know this for sure.
Yeah.
But then you walk in one day and you see him sucking the...
Yeah.
You see it.
Yeah.
But he's looking at you saying, I'm not gay.
Yeah. I'll be like, well, do you have to get a spending bill passed?
Why, Charlamagne?
I'll be like, this guy's a patriot. He'll do anything for this country.
Greatest show on goddamn earth. Don't you ever motherfucking think
it is.
Brilliant this is the greatest motherfucking podcast on earth. You're going to rewind that, and then you're going to catch it, okay?
Yeah.
All right?
It was good.
Let's
it was
pay
funny.
some bills.
Let's pay some bills. Ad time. That, I think, was a really good conversation. I also really love that Andrew does his best not to cut Charlamagne off. He apologized. I think in podcasting in particular, people really cut each other off. Andrew's really good about oh, sorry, go. You know, he's like, no, finish. I think that's such a good quality and characteristic for somebody to have. I enjoy listening to these two men talk because, again, they do have status as far as celebrity and notoriety, but they are still just two men talking it out. And I like that. And I think these type of conversations move things forward, whether I agree, you agree with them or not, it just creates conversation. And there are people who, like Andrew Schulz, there are people who like Charlamagne who don't want to listen to politicians, but they'll listen to these two men have a very back and forth conversation. That can open the door. Let me know your thoughts. As always, all perspectives are welcome. Unkindness, however, is not up for debate. If you can't be kind, put it on mute and keep it cute somewhere else. All right, love you guys. Have the day you deserve. Bye.